Yep, we live. All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. Hebrew Israelites, GMS Louisiana Saints, the Lafayette branch, coming back at you with another live lesson. Before we go any further, we're facing the east. We're going to give infinite honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well, and are worthy of their double honors. Peace and blessing to you. I keep pushing out this truth across the four corners during these last 6 of the time, right? And in these last 6 of the time, we're seeing the United States of America dwell in great pandemonium, preparing for that great day of the Lord, man. We see the birth pains happening on this society. We see the shortage of the labor force. We see inflation, all right? We see laws being mandated in the legislation that are going to totally render the society lawless, man, and unruly, all right? We see newly created beasts in the earth. We see rape, robbing, and murder at an all-time high, man. Still to this day. So what is our job to do? To be watchmen, sit up on that watch, all right, and prophesy the things to come to pass and warn our people. What you got, Doc?
Hey, and real quick, I like how you use that word pandemonium. Because when you break down the word pandemonium, all right, pan meaning all, and then demonium pretty much goes back to the word demon. So hey, Esau Edom, as he's on his last leg, of his blessing, his rulership. Okay, he's getting ready to, unleash all demons, all right, throughout the four corners of the earth, to try to establish his NWO, to try to maintain in his rulership, while at the same time, wiping out the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and stopping us from getting into our rulership, okay, under Yahushua,
Right. I got one for you, guys. It's Isaiah 24:10. It says, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in.
You want us to break it down?
Yeah, you got it.
All right, God, it said the city of confusion, and we all know what that city of confusion is. All right, Babel, which in the Hebrew means what? Confusion. Okay, because this place is one big ball of confusion, or mixing in any and every belief system all into one place. Okay, you end up with a big pot of wickedness. Okay, wickedness, adultery, idolatry, all right, self-worship, self-glorification. Okay, all types of rebellion against Yahweh Shema Shai. Well, now through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, the Lord is pretty much breaking down that spirit. Okay, and it's starting with this word being preached throughout this country, as well as throughout the four corners of the earth. We see this city, all right, this place, America, Babylon the Great, being broken down financially, all right, socially, gender-wise, the men against the women against the men, political-wise, all these divisions going on in this place. There's no future for this place, nor any hope. Okay, so hey, the Lord is breaking the city down, starting with this word going forth. Okay, he's speaking it into existence through his prophets. And so, hey, call on Yahweh Shema Shai. It's only a few days left in this hellhole that we're in right now, this captivity. Okay, which is our final captivity.
Verse 11, there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone.
Right, there's a cry for wine in the streets. That wine is symbolic of, okay, not necessarily actual physical wine, although, just this past week or maybe last week, we was looking into an article on the WhatsApp earlier, amongst the brothers, but now they're saying that there's getting ready to be a beer shortage. Okay, a beer shortage. And who would have ever thought of that here in America, that there would come a time where there's going to be a shortage of beer. Usually when people go out, on the weekends or whatnot, get together at somebody's house or watch a football game or whatever, usually the main choice of drink would be, a good beer, Bud Light, Miller Light, whatever the case may be. Well, now, okay, now that all those things are getting ready to be shut down and canceled, okay, people are going to be crying for these things because, people are going to be crying for that mirth back.
Yeah.
All right, but nonetheless, that wine that people are crying for in the streets also goes into, a cry for truth. People see the times that we're in right now. They see inflation skyrocketing. Okay, the food prices are going up more and more. Energy bills are going up more and more. Things are getting more weird and left hand. So people are all over the streets and all over the internet looking for answers.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then ultimately, the society uses things at their leisure.
Yeah.
All right. They drink a can of beer, they leave it half full. They care not about it. They're not gonna drink it down to the last drop and say, "Well, you know what? This could be very well my last beer. Let me cherish it." Nah, man. America is all about lounging, couch potatoes, uh, slouching, um, tarrying, man. All right. Because at one point in time, you can get a beer for 50 cents, a beer for $1, a beer for 25 cents, 10 cents, man. Then the price is hiked up to now. You get a beer, you go to a restaurant, a beer costs $5, man, $6, $7, man. All right, for one bottle, man, or one can. But that shows you that this land, America, is that city of confusion. It's not the Vatican, it's America, man. All right, only in America where you have the inhabitants thereof that take everything for granted, man. Even AC, Wi-Fi, everything is taken for granted here, man. Everything is turned upside down. All right, this is Second Esdras 16 and 21. You got it, right? You got it. You got it. Break down. Second Esdras 16 and 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case.
God, they shall think themselves to be in good case. And all the things that the brother just now said is that what? All these pleasures that people take for granted, man. All right, AC, Wi-Fi. All right, you have the convenience of going here and there without having to worry about anything. You have the grocery store. You have your medicine. All these things are easily accessible, man. All right, so what? All right, you think yourself to be in a good case, man. I ain't gotta worry about nothing. Everything is it's just so easy to get, man. Because what? It's not likened into a third world country yet. All right, all turmoil and hell hasn't broken out yet. All right, you see all that stuff that's happening out there in the Middle East and these third world.
Did you get Rock 5 and 7
God, you see all these things that's happening in these third world countries, and you say to yourself, "Well, it's not happening in my backyard, so I don't care about it." So that's exactly what's gonna eventually happen. You got it out.
Yep. That's why it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon."
Right.
That's the latter end of the mic. You grab it. It says that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Second Esdras 16 and 21, the latter end. That they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion.
Yeah, that's right, man. So what? Even though you're in the comforts of your simplicity, all right, and what? You ignoring the reality, all right. You ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality, man. All right. So eventually, all these things are gonna catch up with you, man. All right. It says what? That eagles. It says then shall eagles grow upon the earth, man. Eagles are continuing to grow even though you're in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
All right. It says sword, famine, and great confusion, man. And all of these things are taking place on the earth, man. All right. The love of many is waxing very cold in the earth, man. All right. There's more murders. All right. There's suicide. People killing themselves because they're going through all kind of things. All right. Famine. All right. There's being a food shortage. They're talking about a dark winter.
Yeah.
All right. All of this in great confusion, man.
Right.
All right.
It's like we brought out in Isaiah 24 and 10, the city of confusion is broken down.
Right.
Second Esdras 16:21 says, sword, famine, and great confusion. So the city of confusion is subject to confusion, man. Like the scriptures tell you, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean thing, man? America is unclean. So it's gonna get unclean results, unclean judgments. All right. Unclean disruptions, man. Pandemonium, like the brother was going into. All right. But we're subject to cleanliness, the law, statutes, and commandments. Therefore, we're gonna dwell on the right hand side when all this madness is taking place, man. That was it on that. You got it, man.
said 5 and 7.
Surah 5 and 7.
All right. This is Sirach, chapter 5, verse 7. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. All right, so hey, that's pretty much a straight up commandment right there. Don't tarry to come to the Lord, because hey, pretty much, going into everything that the brothers, that we've been bringing out so far in this lesson. Okay, we're pretty much living in a time as it was in the days of Noah.
Yeah, I got that.
Go ahead and read it right now.
This is Matthew 24:38. It says, "For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking."
Right, and the days before the flood is what we know as the antediluvian period, right? So, the days before the flood, you had the sons of God walking the earth, all right? So, there came a period of time, and I'm gonna back you up with something else too. There came a period of time where the flood came upon the earth, but the flood was targeted at the ungodly, all right? And there were certain things that happened before that flood, just as there are certain things that are gonna happen before that second death, the nuclear flood, man. Which are what? Judgment, warnings being gone out. That's what Noah symbolized. You got it out.
Yeah.
It says, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. All right, and it says, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. It says, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So just as those days before, man, but history is repeating itself all over again, man. And the second death, which is going to come by way of that fire, all right, that nuclear fire, man. All right.
Because hey, like when you look at like the pride and the arrogance and the rebellion of overall of the people overall throughout the earth, like we need, this earth needs another flood like judgment to take place.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All of this rebellion. Okay, and that's why, part of the reason why the Lord had, Esau create, things like social media and camera phones and stuff like that, because now people, not, of course, not only doing, the wickedness that they do in their everyday life, but now they're using their phones and their, social media platforms to capture all these things and put it all throughout the internet and the media. Okay, for the Lord to, justify bringing judgment upon them, as well as this whole entire society. As the brother just read, people were, before the flood, people were marrying, giving into marriage, eating and drinking, basically partying and bullshit. Not taking heed to the things that Noah was prophesying. Okay, and in this current day, not taking heed to the things that we're prophesying, starting with our apostles and elders on down to the least of us. Okay, and so therefore what? All of that rebellion and pride and arrogance, okay, disobedience is all, getting ready, is all justifying the Lord bringing forth a second death like the brother was going into. Okay, and it's much needed.
I got you on money. This is 2 Peter 2:4. For the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly.
Yeah. So those first and foremost, those angels that sinned were men. Okay, men on the planet Earth, the sons of God, which were the descendants of Seth. Okay, not actual angels that came down from heaven down to the earth. Okay, and did wickedness and taught man how to do wickedness. All right, and therefore that brought forth the flood. No, those angels were the sons of God, men. And the scripture says in the book of Psalms, we ourselves were made a little lower than angels. Okay, basically, so the Lord, pretty much got pissed off, when he saw his own people, indulging in the wickedness of the heathen nations that were around during that time. All right, the sons of Cain, as well as the rest of the other nations, and it was pretty much from that point on, that's what mainly pissed the Lord off, enough to the point to where he he decided to bring a whole entire flood and wipe out, okay, all the people of the earth except for 8 people.
Right.
Okay.
And these Christians will get into that fairy tale mythological mindset, and they start thinking that, okay, well, these giants walked the earth and actually had sex with women, all right, Adam and Eve was an actual apple, an actual snake. No, man. All right? The scriptures tell you this. Because in that time, in the days of Noah, in the days of Adam, you had sin going on, man. You had nations of people. You had a nation being fruitful and multiplying. You had sex going on. It was just as it is today, man. It wasn't reptiles and command Lord, a snake ruling over everybody. Come on, man. All right? Just as you see it today, it was then, man. All right? This is Ecclesiastes or Sirach chapter 40, verse 9. It says, I'm going to start at 9. It says, death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge, these things are created for the wicked. Now, when were these things created? Were they just newly created? Was death newly created on the planet Earth? No. Was famine? Was strife? Was bloodshed? Is that a new thing? No, man. It's been going on since the very beginning. But it says, these things are created for the wicked. Because just as the righteous was labeled righteous, the Lord stamped us righteous. The wicked was stamped wicked. It was done so in the beginning, man. The Lord had that separation in the beginning, and Yahweh Shah was there as the top angel, man. All right? The chief in command, it says, these things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. You see? And for the wicked sake, that is going to come the second flood, this nuclear flood, man. But before this flood comes, you're going to see death, famine, bloodshed, strife, envy, vanity, all those things, man. So it's plain. You got it in mind. You got it in mind. Go ahead.
Hey. We're getting ready to see a second.
What did it say after that?
Want me to read it again? All right. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 40, verse 9. It says, death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood.
I just wanted to back you up with this. All right, this is Sirach 30 and Sirach 30 and 28. It says there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made it.
Sirach 30.
I believe it's 30.
36.
Oh, Sirach 39.
39.
All right, Sirach 39 and 28 again. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. And in the time of their destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of them that made them. All right, so what? They got spirits upon the earth that what? Fulfill the judgments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It says fire and hell and famine and death. All of these were created for vengeance.
Shalom, Makiyam, Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakadam. Shalom, brother Kaya on there. Shalom, brother.
Shalom, Kaya.
Shalom. So all of these things, man, all right, it says all of these things, all right, were created for vengeance for the Lord, man, all right, to destroy the sinners, man, of our people, all right? Let's see. That's pretty much it,
No, they got some more. You got to keep going, brother. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, Khan. All right, let's see.
Use it 29 now.
Verse 30, it says, the teeth of wild beasts and scorpions and serpents and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction.
Right, because the Lord doesn't limit himself. Esau has a limited armory. Esau says, okay, well, I got ground patrol, I got naval patrol in the air, all right, I got my archers and things like that. The Lord says he's the king of spirits, man.
Yeah.
So the Lord will put a spirit on the beast, the Lord will put a spirit on the wild nature in itself, man, to start reacting and going against for the Lord's judgment, but it's all in order, man. All right? Just like we see these things happening on the planet Earth today. You got the teeth of wild beasts, these wild pit bulls getting loose, attacking people, going wild. You got newly created creatures. You got all types of various amounts of judgments going out, but they all come from the Lord, man. And they all have us in a constant mindset of, man, the Lord power far exceeds this place, man. Because we see the type of judgment that the Lord delivers, and we say, oh no, we dealing with an out of this world extra celestial power, man. You got it, bro. I'm gonna grab the brother precept. You brothers keep going on that. They got one more verse on that. I'm wise. Get the brother precept real quick.
All right.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, you can read it out.
All right, we stop at 31. All right, verse 31, Sirach 39, verse 31. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is.
That's right. So the spirits, as the brother was just now saying, all right, that the Lord sends down, all right, to hop on different people or hop on animals, all right, or fire, because what the scripture says that what his angels are consuming fire, he's a consuming fire. All right, these wildfires, all these different things that are happening upon the earth. All right, spiritually we know that it's Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah that's passing his judgment. All right.
Ooh, like a major example. As of recent, brothers have been sharing an article in the WhatsApp showing that there's chariots over there in Ukraine.
Yeah, yeah.
The chariots are present over there in Ukraine. So showing us what, through the spirit that, hey, the Lord ultimately is the one that's, creating all the chaos and the war that's going on over there in Ukraine. And, through
Amos 3 and 18.
Yeah, God. And then, looking at, all the things that's been happening throughout society ever since that whole war in Ukraine broke out. Look at the things we've seen. Okay, we've seen the price of food going up. We've seen the price of gas going up, gas shortages, energy shortages, natural gas shortages. All right, all because of, ultimately Yahweh Shema Shai and, these NATO and EU nations putting sanctions on Russia, okay, which is, one of the top producers of oil, as well as grain for breads and things like that. Okay, so all these things, the Lord is setting up all these things for all the judgments that we've been reading of so far in the scriptures.
That's right. It's Amos 3 and 6 back in the Manya. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord had not done it?
Hey, so all the evils that goes on throughout the earth, in every city, every country, every state, is ultimately all up Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, as the scripture says in Isaiah 45, I believe, the Lord creates good and he creates evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So, hey, nothing goes down, all right, or up without Yahweh Shema Shai say so. Okay, and in this case, America's going down, all right, and at the same time, we as a hopeful elect are coming up. Okay, it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai via his word. He declared these things from the beginning, all right, and now these things are playing out, right before our eyes. Okay? You got it, huh?
We got one up. I'm on. I got a book. This is going into it, all right? It's Isaiah 29 and 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? And that's talking about Esau, Edom. And you got these other nations there, they're tumult against us as well. So just the Most High laid it out in the storyline. You got the heroes, you got the villains. The villains being the other nations starting with Esau, Edom. The heroes, the chosen being the elect, man. They're going to be afforded certain, what scripture you just read? Isaiah 29 and 15. They're going to be afforded certain gifts on this side. Just like, let's just use so-called Superman for example. He was Clark Kent at one point in time, man, an average guy working at I believe it was a newspaper outlet, all right, or a news outlet, just living out the walks of life. And then he was bestowing on him these gifts to where he became Superman. So just imagine the chosen ones, man. Imagine the real ones that this power was sanctioned for from the beginning, man. Imagine us in our glory, man. That's what we're looking forward to. But it says, Isaiah 29 and 16, surely a turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. So ultimately, when Esau sows confusion in the earth, who esteems it? Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and the prophets come out and make sense of it and edify and say, okay, well, we got a foggy window here. Let's bring some precepts out. We're going to clear this window up, man. We're going to start seeing through it now. We can see Esau for who he truly is. We can see his plans. We can see his foils. But the reason that we're able to see it so clearly is because we deal with the scriptures, man. The scriptures breaks it down for us and make it apparent who our enemy is. But it says, for shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? And when Esau goes up against Yahweh Shah and the holy angels, Yahweh Shah in the Third World War, that's what he's basically going to say, man. He's saying to the Most High, You didn't make me. You don't have control over me. I have my own army. I have my own military. I can come up against you and overthrow you, man. It's not going to happen, Esau. All right? The Most High, starting with Yahushua, man, and his men, you're going to see his men start being the best version of themselves through the Spirit, man. We talk about that and we preach that to brothers all the time, man. Because we're a family, man. Behind these cameras, we labor together, man. All right? We break down scriptures together and we're in alliance then together, man. That's what the Lord required. So it's not far-fetched that while we're in here and these prophecies are coming to pass, we're taking on to it. We're doing videos. What do you expect out of us, man? We're going to be laboring and doing these works, man, in these last seconds of time. But you got it out. We can get into the article.
Yeah,
All right, who want to go first?
I got
the brother got a quick precept on here.
Come.
All right. I'm gonna bring it out. It's the book. I'm gonna start at. Let's see where the brother started at. Psalm 75:6. It says, "For promotion cometh from neither cometh from the east, nor the west, nor the south, but Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is the judge. He put it down one and set it up another. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poured out the same. But the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them."
All the wicked of the earth.
That's right, bro.
The heathen nations, including 2/3 of our people as well, they're all gonna drink of the wine of Yahweh Shema Shai, which is wrath, judgment, calamities, famine, or the sword, all these different things. All right, because the heathen nations, including Esau, Edom, as well as 2/3 of our people, their names weren't written, in a book of life from the foundation of the earth to receive mercy in these days. Okay, they were written to ultimately, play out their lot, rebel against the Lord, and ultimately be judged by Yahweh Shema Shah. All right, but as I read up in this chapter, the Lord, put it down one and set it up another. And we clearly see that Yahweh Shema Shah is putting down these heathen nations and getting ready to set up his government, okay, which is Yahweh Shah, as well as the 144,000 right behind Yahushua. Okay, the Lord is raising up his government in these latter days. Yeah. Okay.
The prophecy has to be fulfilled. The prophecy has to be fulfilled that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning that follows. So that has to be fulfilled, man. So everything that we read about in the volume of the book has either come to pass or is yet to come to pass, man. That's why it's prophecy, and that's why we said before, because in our reincarnations, we were still prophesying unto the Lord, man. That's what renown goes into, man. Those men that had the divine oracles of the Most High that been here from the beginning, prophesying during the times of Adam, man. That were prophets out, man, which we know through the Spirit, but you got it out.
I'm going to get this article out.
You get into the article.
Right into it. All right?
You get that purge one, too.
It says, the title of the article says, "Rise of Civil Unrest Surging in More Than Half of the World's Countries," analysis says. It says the world is bound for more disruption and unrest in the next 6 months, an intelligence firm says. The analyst said the risk of civil unrest has increased in 101 of the 198 countries it tracked.
Right, bro. Hey, and that goes into exactly what we were saying, man, because that horde that sitteth upon many waters has influenced the entire globe, man. So America has, like the scriptures tell you, they drunken with that wine that for the nations are mad, man. So these other nations, they're mad because they've been indoctrinated as well. They're drunken of that wine and wrath of fornication. So you see uproars in these different countries in the Middle East, all right? Different countries, all right, throughout the globe, because they're Americanizing a shape, form, or fashion, man. This is Isaiah 19:1. You got it out. You got it out more. It's Isaiah 19:1. The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it.
That's right. So the Lord is going to come on a chariot, man. He's going to destroy all these idols, man, that people have made, all right, to worship, man. All right? And it It says what up? In 11 point it says melt. It says it shall melt, man.
Let me read it again.
Come on.
It says, "And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it."
That's right, man. The heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it, man. By way of those chariots, man, those concentrated beams of energy, man. All right, and like brothers all over the place, brothers all over the world, they always refer to Independence Day. When you watch that movie, it shows that concentrated beam of energy.
Come on, you can get Revelation 1 and 7. You got it. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it shows that concentrated beam of energy was destroying the White House, man. All right, and destroying other buildings as well. All right, that's what it's talking about. All right.
In the mind of Egypt, the mind of America is melting in the midst of it through the what? The prophets.
Prophets.
That's how does something melt? Fire makes things melt, right?
Yeah.
The Lord said, "I will make the words come out of your mouth fire, and these people wood." So what melts in Egypt in the midst of this place, man? This word is going out and it's melting and devouring the stumbling blocks in this society, man. That's why we titled the lesson in the news, "A nation headed towards a bitter end," because America means bitter, man. Spoken of by the prophet Jeremiah, man. This place means bitter, man, and it's gonna meet a bitter end, and it has a sour taste in the mouths of the prophets, man. We don't have nothing good. Our testimony speaks of nothing good concerning America, man. But it says, you got it, I'm on you.
Yeah.
You go ahead, bring it up.
And real quick, if I could back up what you just said,
You got it, bro.
that's why Jeremiah, in I believe either chapter 50 or 51, he referred to Babylon as Marathaim, which when you go into it in the Hebrew, it means
right.
double rebellion.
That's right.
So hey, this place is not only rebellion against the Lord, but double rebellion. Rebellion on steroids. Because now Esau Edom is getting ready to try to establish a digital Tower of Babel. Okay, basically Esau Edom is trying to finish the legacy of Nimrod, going back to the original Tower of Babel. All right, and of course we know in the Hebrew, all right, Marathaim, all right, the word Mar in the Hebrew goes into a rebellion. Backing up what the brother just said. That's right, brother. All right, this is Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Amen.
That's right, man. So Yahweh is coming back on a great big chariot. All right. And what all eyes shall see him, man. And all right, what all people shall mourn at the sight of him, man. All right. That's how Yahweh is coming back, man. In the so-called UFO. All right. And we call them IFOs, man. All right. We can identify them because they're in the scriptures. All right.
Back in Isaiah 19 and 2. "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom."
That's right, man. So it says that I will set Egyptian against Egyptian. Now, it's not really talking about Egyptians, it's talking about modern day Egyptians, which are Americans, man.
Yeah.
All right. And it says what? Kingdom against kingdom. All right. City against city. People against people.
That's right.
All right.
I got you right here. It's Luke 11 and 18. If Satan, Yahushua speaking, Luke 11 and 17, "But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand it? Because ye say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub."
That's right, man. So what? His kingdom is already divided, okay, already as it is, with the Democrats and Republicans and just people's views, man. All right. Confusion. All right. The land of confusion. So what? When the Lord actually, when people is going to come to a point to where these people are going to clash heads, man. They're gonna fight against one another, man. All right. They already they probably already scoping out, who they're gonna go after, man. All right. Hold on, hell breaks loose, man. So can you read that line of quote one more time up?
All right. It's Luke 11 and 18, and it reads, "If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? because ye say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub.
That's right, man. So basically, you're gonna have Esau against Esau, man. All right, you have all nations of all kindreds against each other, man. You have uh, um, um,
They're gonna really have versus battles in that thing.
Yeah.
You want to have versus battles when it's
Yeah.
hip hop industry? There's really gonna be a versus battles, man.
city
You so-called Native Americans can go against you so-called Negroes. You Negroes can go against Esau. Esau can go against Esau. That's why it's called confusion, man. But ball, there's gonna be nothing but confusion going on, man. Shots being traded, like that video. And speaking of videos, I think remember brother posted that video about like the 3Ks. We're gonna keep our words very. Those 3Ks guys, and he was like, man, we ready for them. We ready for them. You all remember that? I think it was Kabar posted that.
Yeah.
He was like, we ready for them, man.
Yeah.
They ready. They ready to invade you, Jake's Section A, and your project housing building, man. O block, they coming for you, man. All right.
Yeah.
These other South Central, man, wherever it may be, man, they're coming for you, man.
Oh,
If I could
You're gonna
say
get
this,
what you need.
You got it.
if I could say this, those 3Ks that the brother talking about in that movie, The Purge, right?
Yeah.
They-
I was just about to reference that.
In that movie, The Purge, man. All right, what? You had these people on these trucks, man. All right, in their costumes. All right, walking around, driving around with AK-47s, with machine guns.
Casually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Casually.
And then you see Jake like seeing it, he's like, man, let's get out of here, man. Let's get out of here, man. All right, so that's basically what's gonna be happening, man. They showing you what they want to happen, man. They showing you what's gonna happen.
Well, hey, in the movie, all right, the 2018 purge, which they call the first purge, all right, because the scene that the brother is talking about, they was actually like traveling to a church. Y'all remember seeing that in the movie? Like they went into a church that was full of chicks. Like it was mainly like women and children up in there and shit like that. But like those 3K members, they was actually on their way to a church. And once they got up in there, hey, they kicked down the door and they just sprayed everybody up inside of a church. So that shows you what, that none of these churches that you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are going to right now, these pastors that you listen to, none of them are going to be able to protect you when the time of Jacob's trouble comes. All right, the Lord's going to do away with all these churches, and He's going to use Esau, Edom, all right, as a main tool to get that job done.
Yep.
The job done.
And even you brought the church part, but Esau also went into the ghettos, man. He went into the projects, man.
Yep.
All right, he was going on each floor killing Jake, man.
Yep.
All right, so that just, man, he knows what's going on, man. He know what he's doing, bro. All right, but you got y'all think you want to do that.
Yep. I got one for y'all brothers, just backing up y'all brothers' point. 2nd Ezra 15:15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And the course, here's the purge part. This describes the purge exactly to a T right here. It says, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
That's right, man. So pretty much, there's not going to be any law enforcement. There's not going to be anybody to try to come out there and help you, man. Because those people are going to be worrying about their own families, man. All right? And that movie I always talk about, when you watch that movie World War Z, in the beginning of that movie, the guy goes into the store to try to go loot to get some, I believe it was I think it was either insulin or a pump, all right, because his daughter had asthma. Yeah. But nevertheless, the police officer came in and he throwed up his hands because he thought he was about to get arrested. Yeah. But the police officer passed him up to go loot the store as well, man, because he has a family. Yeah. All right?
Ooh, that's a beautiful point,
yep.
bro.
Yep.
Because America, that's why it's called confusion, because you have, just picture a nice gated neighborhood. You got police surrounding it, police patrolling it, but in those minds, a set of the policemen, they're on a 12-hour shift where they thinking about what they're gonna eat. They thinking about, are they gonna get some box? They thinking about getting some sleep. They're human beings, man.
Yeah.
They're not super immortal. Just, oh well, this is the law, man. That's why the Lord says you have to come out of this place spiritually, man. Don't hearken unto the laws of Esau's society, because getting all into the depths of his society will have you losing your wits, man. Going out of your mind. So we see the things for what they are. That's why brother said he just passed them up and went straight to Luke, man, because he got a family, he got kids, he got a woman, he got certain necessities he has to meet, man. All right, and then that y'all brothers can tell me which Persia was. They had two sisters. They told they told the guy and Eve and her child she could come in, and they came into their apartment. And it was like a sister or something else, and she found out her sister was being with her husband, and she shot her sister, man.
Oh, which one was?
I forgot which one it was.
I want to.
Y'all know what I'm talking about?
I want to say it was. I want to say it was the purge election year, if I'm not mistaken, the 2016 release. But yeah, I remember that scene. I want to say it was either election year or the Purge Anarchy, which came out in 2014. But yeah, I remember that scene.
Yep. Hey, I'm bring it up for y'all brothers got it. It's Matthew 10 and 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. Yahushua speaking. It says, I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household.
A man's foes shall be of his own household, man. So you're gonna have division even amongst these households, man. You would think that they would come together because of what? All the turmoil that's happening. You would think they would put all those things to aside. All right, but no, they're not. All right, what? They're gonna go against one each other, man. They're gonna be tearing each other's heads off, man. All right. So there it is, man. The scriptures are beautiful, man.
All right. Like in 2 Ezra 15 and 17, it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
That's right, man. So because of read it one more time, man.
All right. 2 Ezra 15 and 18, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
It says because of their pride, man. Because what? They don't think that nothing's going to happen. Going back to what we was talking about in the beginning, man. They're in the comfort. They're in their comfort zone, man. They got the AC blasting. All right, they ain't got nothing to worry about. They can play the game all day. All right, you make money off of playing games now, man. They like, oh, man, just sit back and
money from home.
Make money from home. All right, which is in their comfort. All right, but it says what? All right, that people are going to start to what? Invade one another because of what? A lack of resources, a lack of medicine, a lack of food. All right, these different things. All right, so what? They're going to come to different people's houses in search of those things, man. All right, they're already in the mind frame, in the mindset of I already don't have nothing. So what more do I have to lose if I go in this person's house?
Yeah. People literally going to be risking it all.
Yeah.
When that time comes, it's like you just said, you're not going to have nothing to lose.
Ooh.
You know.
That's what Elder Rama always says, man. He says when people have nothing to lose, they lose it, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna just read this out. The brother brought this out earlier. Manya, in Sirach 5 and 7, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed, and perish in the day of vengeance. See, the Lord is the King of upsets, man. He said, in your security you're going to be destroyed. Who ever heard of somebody being destroyed and being secure? Come on, man. The Lord is going to upset this place, man. America is all about having security, social security, insurance. They tell you, man, protect everything, protect your assets, protect your social security, protect your identity. But what about protect the Lord's name? Protect your heritage. Protect these scriptures, man. That be a defender of the gospel. We've totally fell away, man. We've totally lost our way, man. That's why the Lord is going to send scourges for amendment. Since you want to follow after the amendments of the Constitution, and the Lord is sophisticated beyond our means, man. The Lord said He's going to send scourges for amendments. So He knows you, Jake, love the Constitution, man. He knows you love Esau's laws. So He's going to send a famine, the hellfire, the sword, the bloodshed, man, to amend you, to change you, man. And if that don't get you right, you're going to be caught up in that hellfire, man, that second flood, man. Ultimately, you got it, brother. I want after y'all finish.
I got it.
Get back into the article.
Yeah, I
Yep,
got
got
some more. Right, this is back in the article. It says the risk of civil unrest has surged this year in more than half of the world's countries. All right, signaling a coming period of heightened global instability, fueled by inflation, war, and shortages on essentials. Man, going back to the same scriptures that we was just bringing out in 2nd Ezra 15th chapter. Man, all right, it says. Let's see. It says, let me jump down a little bit. All right. It says the report said that nations such as Peru, Kenya, Ecuador, and Iran have discounted discounted on their streets because of the risk costs, according to the analysis. Saw the most significant decrease of government stability as mass protests over the country's worsened economic crisis is modern history. In modern history, so pretty much these countries are going through what, an economic situation, man. All right, they're going through an economic crash, man. All right, look at Venezuela. All right, Venezuela is completely done. I mean, they picking food, they getting food out of garbage cans, man. All right, their money, all right, that they're trusted in, is in the streets, man, and they're using that to start fires, you know. So that's how bad it is, and that's how America is ultimately going to become. All right, the scriptures say that what they shall cast their silver and gold into the streets. All right, so that's going to happen to America. All right. Um, let's see. It says, meanwhile, energy shortages in Germany have led to blackouts and extreme price hikes when the country's top renter stated that the nation must cut back on gas usage so it can later endure the coming winter. All right, so man, with that, the inflation, all right, of this gas is gonna cause what? Civil unrest, right? All right, because people are already barely making it, man. All right, in the times that we're in right now. All right, uh, it says that's pretty much it. It says yeah, that's it. That's it on that one. But yeah, man, we pretty much, as the article is saying, man, we pretty much seeing that the plagues are not only just here in America, but the Lord is using His angels to go what all over the world, man, to spread this tribulation. It says that the whole world's gonna feel this tribulation when it comes, man. All right, it's what Israel is scattered all over.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, that's a good point the brother just made. You know, because back in what he just said, you know, one of the reasons why the Lord is, you know, getting ready to plague the whole entire world with all these different things is because, like the brother just said, Israel is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So, hey, you know, when the scripture speaks about the time of Jacob's trouble, you know, that's not just talking about Jacob's trouble here in America, but Jacob's trouble all throughout the four corners of the earth. You know, because hey, you know, all the 2/3 of our people, you know, wherever they are, whoever they may be, they, you know, all of them are going to catch hell for, you know, disobeying the gospel. All right, because first and foremost, you got prophets and teachers of the elect that's teaching in all nations throughout the planet Earth. You know, as the scriptures speaks about. So hey, you know, the 2/3 of our people throughout the earth that ultimately, you know, reject those men, all right, as well as that message. Hey, the Lord is going to reject them and make them subject unto those scourges of amendment, like the brother Wadi had made reference to earlier. You know, that's great. But
You got it on mine.
I got an article. All right, now this is from Bloomberg.com. Okay, further going into you know, future, near future economic collapse. All right, so this is Bloomberg.com. It says Fed, the Federal Reserve, Fed seen raising to four, Fed seen raising to 4% in 2022 and signaling higher for longer. Okay,
if I can say just real quick, when you go to the inflation calculator and you see the prices of things that were being bought and sold in around the year 1905, 1900s, early 1900s, late 1800s, and you jump it up to here, you see a major hike in inflation just over a century's period, man. Just over a small century. A century is just like a blink of the eye to the Lord. Because the scriptures tell you 1,000 years is a day to the Lord. So a century passed just in a brief moment, man. So in this small amount of time, we see our prices have hiked up. But as men of the Lord, we see things from all angles. That's what a watchman does. We say, okay, well, this is what happened in the last century. This is what happened in the last 2 centuries, and so on and so forth. And do our history and come to the conclusion to say, we're in the season for America to be destroyed, man. And the Spirit of the Lord, along with the prophecies, the famine, the death, the strife, the envy, the love of many waxing cold, we come to the conclusion. That's what a moth is, man. That's what truth is. All right, we come to the conclusion and say, okay, well, the Lord is about to destroy America. Okay, we go to Revelation 13 and say, all right, well, we know we don't know the exact moment and date and time, but we know the season, man. We know when we see those birth pains hitting that child, that son of man is about to be brought forth, man, and crack those clouds. You got it. I got one after y'all, brothers. Revelation 6 as well.
Oh yeah, we definitely bring out that black horse.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so back to the article. This Bloomberg.
You mind if I bring out this article to back over the
Yeah.
This is 2nd Ezra 9:1. He said, he answered thee and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, when thou seest the parts of the signs past, which I have told thee before. Then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time where the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. All right. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So the Lord has given us that spirit to be able to, see what's going on around us, man, and report it. Make out these videos, and come together as brethren and talk about these different things that's happening. So we know what our redemption is now, man. The Lord is coming, based off these things that's happening in the world, Because back then they never had, talking about nuclear warfare and nothing like that back in the day. That's what Jake likes to always argue about is, they always been talking about that. But have they always been nuclear warheads and all this other talk about World War III? No. But you got
and a part of that great gift is Psalms 19:4. It says, their line of Salakia, verse 3, and this back up to Revelation 7-9, is Psalms 19:2. Day unto day utter his speech, and night unto night showing knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out throughout the whole earth, and their words to the ends of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun. And it tells you in 2nd Ezra that strong is his hand that been in the bow that beginneth to shoot from the ends of the world. So just as this truth is going out on the world wide web, throughout the ends of the world, men being woken up throughout the earth, those missiles are going to be shot out throughout the earth. Because just as that judgment, that mercy was going out, that mercy was going out throughout the earth, so those judgments got to go out, man. See, the Lord, he's beautiful, man. Your pa, man, he's very merciful. But just as far as the Lord's mercy goes, his wrath goes the same, man. So you don't want to be on the bad side of the Lord, man. The Lord is like a principal where if you break a rule in the school or break a law, you going up to the principal's office. And it's a long walk to that principal's office. But the whole time you walk into the principal's office, you going over in your mind all the chances you had to get it right. So when you walk up and you finally get to that door to the principal's office, you're like, oh, damn, I really deserve this beat. He gave me all these chances. Now I'm up here finally in his mercy. I deserve this. So that's how the Lord sees us, man. And that's how we gotta ultimately say, call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. Because we're being fashioned in the hands of the Lord. We're not fashioned in this movie. We're playing our roles, man. You got that. It says, in them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, and that was it.
All right. So, back in the article, Bloomberg.com, it says Fed seen raising 4% in 2022 and signaling higher for longer. Okay, so basically, the Federal Reserve is on a forecast to, raise up the, basically raise up the rates. Okay, higher again. All right, basically going into the year 2023, which, as a brother was bringing out earlier, the dark winter. It says economists' consensus is for 75 basis point hike next week. So they predicting the Fed to raise up the rates going into next week. And by the way, this article was created on September 16, 2022, which is today. All right, so this is an up-to-date article. It says rates seen staying at peak in 2023 as Fed battles inflation. So these rate hikes that we see right now, okay, are possibly are gonna stay like this going into 2023, and if not higher going into 2023. All right, but it says this the first paragraph of the article. It says Federal Reserve officials will signal a more hawkish stance next week, with interest rates reaching 4% by December. With interest rates reaching 4% by December of this year.
And these things were spoken through the scriptures, man. All right, inflation, famines. All right, we'll get you one real quick, guys, before we get in that Revelation 6. All right, get it real quick. This is Second Kings 6 and 25. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80. What's the score, Akim? 20. 80 is 80. Sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the fourth cab of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. That's inflation, man. All right? Dung? So you mean to tell me that these people in America are going to resort to eating their own dung? That's what it's saying, man. That's what it's going to come down to in America, man. It's no more going to be the luxury of getting a Subway sandwich, eating fresh with Jerry, right? Or going to Burger King and having your way. On McDonald's, we love to see you smile. It's going to be none of that. The mirth is gone, man. The philosophies of this world are going to just be burnt up, man. And it's going to show forth who we are, the test of time, because time shows forth who men are. If you're in hard times, that shows who you are. If you're in flourishing times, that shows who you are, man. So we're coming into the times of Jacob's trouble, where the elect are going to flourish, man. We're going to be raised up with Yahushua, man. All right? But that was just an example of how the inflation can be tipped over, but who has the control of the inflation? The Lord, man. The Lord controls whether a loaf of bread goes from, like we're going to read in Revelation 6, a loaf of bread could go from $5 to $50. That's what that dineros in Revelation 6 is going into, man. A measure of wheat for a penny. So you would have something that's just, what's $1 right now? What can we get for $1?
Apple pie, like a little.
Yeah. All right, two for $1 little candy out the store. Imagine that 2 for $1 being 2 for 20. Those same little candies, man. Man. All right. Revelation 6, whenever you're ready. You got it on the heart, wherever you want to stop.
I'm gonna read a little bit more. It says, Federal Reserve officials will signal a more hawkish stance next week, with interest rates reaching 4% by December of this year, and staying high through 2023. Economists surveyed by Bloomberg said. So, a couple things I want to point out in this verse. It says Federal Reserve officials will signal a more hawkish stance next week. Now, when you go into like the bird family and stuff like that, you have the eagle, which is the top predator bird, throughout all of the planet Earth. The eagle is not only the top predator bird throughout the planet Earth, but it's also the highest flying bird on the planet Earth. Well, at number two, underneath the eagle is the hawk. So here it is. It's saying that the Federal Reserve is going to signal more hawkish stance, meaning what? The Federal Reserve is going to, raise up the rates to where, things are going to be more predator-like. But to where food and gas and things like that is going to go so high up to where it's basically going to turn people into a bunch of savages. People are going to be going into these stores. They're going to see that things are too expensive to afford. Okay, milk is going to be too expensive. Bread is going to be too expensive. So it's going to lead to what? Social unrest. Okay, invading and sedition among men. Okay, people invading into other people's houses. Spoiling their goods, putting the people inside the house of death, all for lack of bread and tribulation. Okay, things are going. Hey, when that hyperinflation hits, okay, this country is going to shoot down like a man. It says let me see.
I got something too.
Yeah, yes, that's pretty much. And then, not to mention, it also says that those rates are gonna are looking to start. Okay, con. Yeah, so it says those rates. Okay, the Fed is looking to raise up the rates once again, starting in December. Okay, which most likely is going to lead to what? That dark winter that this guy Creepy Joe has been talking about over the last couple of years. Okay, and pretty much the way Esau is getting ready to set it up is that he's basically looking to take away the resources of the people starting in December of this year. Right, and then not to mention he's going to look to turn the cash to digital. All right, which you got Biden literally passed an executive order to turn the cash to digital starting in December of this year. So hey, 2023 it's looking like it's going to be the year of hell.
Yeah,
as some of these Edomites are talking about.
That's right, bro.
You got it.
And tell them what's going to happen in January 2023. Just following up with the brother said.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is backing up what the brother was saying. All right, it was 2023. All right. They're pretty much in Illinois. They have the purge month. All right. I'm gonna do a little quick overview of this article. All right. It says Illinois becomes the first state to pass the purge law. All right. It says Illinois is passing a law that would say will make his Shalakia. Some say will make history. Illinois is looking to be the first state in the first state in the United States to abolish cash bail. And the consequences
abolish it, meaning there'd be no more cash bails, man.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna say those trigger words because they already antagonized on that, but we know what non-existence of cash bail will lead to. Is gonna lead to a D word, all right? A 7-letter D word. I'll just say that. All right, go ahead, bro.
And it says, and the consequences of passing such a law may have the leaving the state would mirror the horror movie The Purge. And the film
Would mirror what?
It says mirror the horror movie The Purge.
In a state like Illinois, where you have already a high amount of gun violence, gang violence, rape, robbing, and murder, mass shootings at that, what is implementing a purge law going to do to that already, man? You're heaping fire on top of already fire, man. All right, but like me and the brother D-Raz was talking about, Lord willing, they execute the same type of mandates in these surrounding states around us, man. Just go ahead and get it heaping, man. All right, because the day of the Lord has to come to pass for us to meet our destiny. All right, because either we're going to be judged for deliverance or damnation, man. So we're ready to meet that, and Lord willing, it'll be deliverance. That's what we're fighting for, man. Because these 2/3 of our people in these heathen nations, by their actions, it shows they're fighting for damnation. It shows that they're headed and they want damnation. They want destruction. They don't care about what they do. They don't care about what their ways are. All they worried about is flashy jewelry and the next chicken spot, man. But we see what happens at these chicken spots with you people wearing these flashy jewelries, man, being of the world, man. We see what that spirit is taking out throughout the earth. And we see what the spirit of righteousness is doing. It's giving us more knowledge, man. We're growing in this thing, man. I can look at these brothers and brothers behind the camera, all right, brothers that we deal with in certain camps nearby, and see the immense amount of growth that's been going on through us, man, through the spirit, man. Just from a 6 month period, you know how CEOs, and not saying I'm no CEO, I'm not a CEO, a young brother, I'm a baby, but I'm just saying, you know how like they go into these organizations and they'll be like quarterly, bi-quarterly, let's see where we were 6 months from now.
Yeah.
That's how we doing the truth, man. We gauge brothers from, okay, well, you day and night from a year ago, huh? So ultimately, that's what we're doing right now, man. That's what you see being raised up, the tabernacles, man. Those pillars of Yahweh Shiri Shah, man. And we're speaking on one accord. What you got about it?
All right. It says in the film, citizens were given 24 hours to commit all the crimes they wanted. On January 1st of 2023, the Safety Act will commence in the state of Illinois. And they say what? In that movie, they say what? The purge has now commenced. They say the purge have now commenced, man. They use that same word, man. It's crazy. All right. And it says this act will get rid of, cash bail system in the entirety. The name safety is a acronym for the safety, accountability, fairness, and equality today. Those that instated the act believe it will reduce arrests and limit those put away based on the crime. Now here they're going to go into the different type of crimes that they're talking about. There are 12 non-detainable offenses.
Non-detainable meaning that you can't detain a person and pursue them for a possible booking to an arrest. So these are non-detainable crimes, meaning police can't come after you for the things the brother's about to read.
Right. It says where the new law within cash bail, the law indicates second-degree murder, arson, drug-induced homicide, robbery, kidnapping, aggressive battery, burglary, intimidation, aggressive driving under influence, fleeing. Yeah, it says fleeing and evading drug offenses. It says and threatening the public official, man. All right. So basically, going into that second edges, man, they should not regard their kings nor princes. All right, they're not going to regard these people, man. All right. Crazy. All right.
It's gonna be like the Purge and Grand Theft Auto, all in one, all in one city. People like you literally have a whole kidnapped person in your back seat, all tied up, duct tape around their mouth, or in the back of your trunk. Okay, and the police will know about it, but like the article just said, they won't be able to detain you for it. Starting on what it said January 1st.
Yeah.
So wait,
this is the kicker part, though. This is the kicker part right here of part of the article. It says the Safety Act would allow criminals in pretrial release for the crimes listed above, and if prosecutors fail to show clear and convincing evidence that the alleged could be a threat to a specific individual.
Now, clear and convincing evidence is a prerequisite to convict anyone in a court of law. You need clear and convincing evidence for a criminal court case. In a civil court case, you need preponderance of evidence. Preponderance of evidence is 51%. Go ahead, bro.
It says, unfortunately, the consequences of the Safety Act make an impact on
and that's
how,
what a scale is. You take the scale, it goes. That's what a balance is, man. That pair of balances, man, can lead to slavery on our part or deliverance, man. Because through that pair of balances, this earth is going to be destroyed, man. That death, that mass death, man. 2 Ezra 15, like we was going into, man. Revelation the 6th chapter. these things got to happen in order to get that scale back right, man. There's too much injustice, and that's why the scale of the legal system of America is what lady justice. We go and prophesy in front of it all the time at that park downtown, man. But notice it has a blindfold over the eyes, man. That tells us a lot, man, about this place and the image of it, man. Go ahead, bro.
It says, unfortunately, the consequences of the SIG-T Act make an impact on arrest, how fast arrested criminals must be dealt with because prosecutors would only have 48 hours to decide whether the alleged crime should be released. Investigators believe that 48 hours isn't enough time to collect valuable evidence.
It isn't because we've seen for first 48. We've seen what they collected in that amount of time. It's been nothing, man. You got it.
It says from surveillance. Yeah, it says from surveillance cameras, laboratory work, or forensic search, man. All right, so man, like the brother said, man. All right, that's not enough of time, man, for these people to get convicted of whatever they need to get convicted of, man, which is gonna cause anarchy, man. All right, people are gonna be protesting in the streets, riots and whatnot, man. All right. But you better say it 100%.
You want to give them a close out?
My brothers have one to close out on that one.
Yeah. You want to just say Black Horse for tomorrow in camp?
Yeah. Hey, Lord willing, this message was edifying. We're facing the east. We're going to give infinite honors and praises to
Yahweh,
Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Akakadash. Double honors to the Apostle of Great Millstone, rule well and teach well, and are worthy of the double honors. Peace and blessing to you, Akim, pushing out this truth across the four corners during these last 60 times. Baba, call me Shalom. Until next time, Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. See you on the highways tomorrow. Shalom.